All right, so I was going through looking at the different pools in terms of how you can earn rFLR, the rFLR emissions. There's 2 billion on the table right now. One of the top ways, there's 3 ways to do it. Cyclo Finance offers one at 200%, 209%. You earn rFLR emission rewards on that. I'm going to show you real quick how to do that. First, you got to get some USDC or USDT, get it in your wallet. And I need to bridge it. So I'm going to go over to Stargate and I'm going to go and select what I have. I have base. I have USDC base. Here we go, USDC base. And then I want to take that over to the FLR network. So FLR. So it's going to show USDC base going to USDCE FLR. You see I've got a balance of 225. I'm going to hit max. So I want to send all of it over. So let me show you again just so you know how to do this. You're going to pull up Stargate. You're going to open up connect your wallet. You're going to find USDC base because I'm on the base chain. I send it from Coinbase over to my base USDC base protocol, right? And then, so now that I'm on Stargate, I want to bridge this over to FLR. I want to convert this USDC from base to FLR. So I'm going to go USDC base up here, select USDC base, and then I want to send it to USDCE FLR. So look down there till you find FLR. So now I'm going from base to FLR. I want to do the max amount. So max amount, and I'm going to hit transfer. And I should be getting a confirmation in my wallet. Just got the transfer in my wallet. You need to have some FLR and some ETH, by the way. Make sure you have some FLR and you have some ETH, okay? So now we're going through, you can see the transaction has been submitted, USDC going from base to FLR, and then it'll show up in my Coinbase wallet. Not Coinbase, I'm sorry, my Bifrost wallet. I'm sending it from the base blockchain to FLR so I can play around with that USDC on FLR network. And the purpose of this is to get some Cyclo, some size FLR, and start participating and earning this 209% right here that Cyclo Finance is offering, okay? So Cyclo Finance is offering 209% rFLR rewards for participating in there. So how do we get that? So if you go to their website, cyclo.finance, you look at the docs, it tells you eligible sources of Psy tokens must be acquired through approved sources. Raindex withdrawals, Sparkdex pool swaps, or Blazeswap pool swaps, okay? So you get those rewards by swapping on Sparkdex or swapping on Blazeswap, and then Raindex withdrawals. You can withdraw the size FLR token. So I got my USDC.E from bridging on Stargate from the base chain, which I sent it from Coinbase on base to my base Bifrost USDC wallet address. Then I swapped it over to FLR through Stargate. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to go to Sparkdex because Sparkdex offers an opportunity to swap our tokens and get size FLR. So let's just say for grins and purposes, I'm going to swap this over. And actually, I think I'll do all of this right here. So I'm going to swap over my USDC for size FLR. And I'm doing that, why? Because in order for me to get the 209% rFLR emissions, see this 209% rFLR emissions, see this? Size FLR, 209% rFLR emissions. In order to get that, it says I have to acquire those tokens via Sparkdex, Raindex, or Blazeswap. So I'm going to use Sparkdex. So let's go to Sparkdex. I'm going to swap it. I'm going to confirm the swap in my wallet. Okay, so I've got a confirmation. You can see the swap succeeded. I'm swapping 225 USDC for 649 Cyclo. And now I have that in my wallet. You can see it's in the wallet. You go half, you go over here, swap it up. You got see, I got 650. So I now have my CYS flare. So I'm now, because I use Sparkdex to swap for it, I'm now eligible to start earning rewards under the Cyclo rewards program. And these are rFLR incentives. And remember, rFLR incentives are monthly. They're paid out monthly. You go to the portal, to the Flare portal, to collect those every month, usually around the 5th or 6th, right around the same time frame that the flare drops happen, is about the same time frame that you're eligible to start claiming your emissions. But you go to emissions, and then you'd come down here to Cyclo, and because you've been participating, you should have some funds to claim over here. Okay, emissions, go to Cyclo. All right, funds to claim. So that's all you need to do in order to get your piece of the pie. And again, why and how? Okay, so when I go and I look at who is paying the most for rFLR emissions, right? Because that's how you earn free flare every month. Who's paying the most? I started looking up here. So I go to flaremetrics.io, go to the DeFi supercharged products, and I look at these APRs, and it tells me how much they're paying out for rFLR, right? The objective right now should be to aggregate as much rFLR as you can, as much flare as you can, start aggregating it, start collecting it, get it through a number of sources. This is essentially free for participating. This is a cheat code right here too. USDTO and USDC.E on Flare is paying out almost 65% APR in rFLR. So you're getting free flare at a rate of 65% annual. That's a cheat code. But the best one really is this 209 APR that Cyclo is offering, just simply for having and swapping on Sparkdex. You will be earning the rFLR reward at the rate of 209% APR. That's a cheat code. So you've got Sparkdex, you've got collateral, you've got Cyclo as 3 ways, probably 3 of the best ways that you can earn it. And I might do another video on 3 ways to earn rFLR and the emissions. But don't sleep on the emissions. The emissions are huge. This is a way to get free flare. And eventually, at some point in time, as you know, you will not have the opportunity to be acquiring free flare. So very important to get it while you can get it. If you go to the voting under the Flare portal, the governance voting, you can see the different votes and when these votes for governance initiatives were voted in, and you can read the details. So pretty big deal when you start talking about aggregating free tokens. You need to know how to do it, and so I need to make sure that everyone understands that it's very important that you are taking advantage of the emissions program, the Flare emissions program. It is huge. It is the best way for you to get free flare, just simply by participating in the different ecosystems. Well, this is one way to get it on Cyclo Flare. Cyclo paying 209% APR. All right. So I just showed you how to get your USDC from Coinbase, send it to the base chain, go to Stargate. You're going to swap it over to Flare. Once you have it on the Flare, you're going to go to Sparkdex. You're going to pull up your Cyclo token. You're going to swap your USDC for your Cyclo. And because you did it through Sparkdex, you're now eligible to earn the Cyclo rewards, the rFLR incentives, Cyclo rewards, and get your piece of the 209% pie. We finally got our piece of the pie. All right, Flare fam, I'm out. Let me know if you got any questions. But this is the time we should be accumulating as much flare as possible. We should be accumulating as much flare as possible. One of the ways is to participate in the different emissions pools that are out there. See ya.